Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and have we found the perfect complement for epic scale figures? So it was suggested to me fairly recently on the Facebook page of the Plastic Crack podcast that a really good complement, scale wise at least, for epic scale miniatures is actually 15mm ECW figures from Steel Fist. Now, I didn't really know, well I did, but I didn't. I sort of knew that they had a 15mm range, but I know them for their 28mm. And they are awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. They do Italian Wars, Samurai, beautiful, beautiful figures. A little on the expensive side, but the quality is extraordinary. And I love them for that. And I've got quite a lot already in my collection. And I hadn't really looked at their 15mm range, mainly because I didn't really want any more English Civil War. As I mentioned in my previous video comparing the Essex 15mm, what I was looking for was something to supplement, so to increase the scales. So when I'm building my Imperial forces, I wanted to make sure I had some cavalry that currently Warlords don't do, and whether they do them or not we'll see in time. But the things like the Croats, the Border Men, the Cossacks, those sort of things, and also Cuirassiers, because Cuirassiers you get 2 on the sprue of cavalry, and it's just not enough for an Imperial army because they had a lot more Cuirassiers in their forces generally. So I hadn't really looked at a Steel Fist, but when I did look, I realised I've got an awful lot of Cuirassiers and heavy cavalry of different descriptions on there, as well as officers, because that's the other thing you don't get an awful lot of with epics so far. Now I know they'll probably start to bring out more in future, but I thought, well, let's have a look at how Steel Fist miniatures compare to our trusty epic scale. Let's have a look. So right, let's take a look at, I didn't buy many Steel Fist miniatures because I didn't know how they were going to fit, and also I've got quite a lot of epic to get my way through, so we'll start with those first. But I did pick up a couple of packs. I picked up a unit of Cuirassiers, a unit of, I think these are Royalist Heavy Cavalry, ECW H21 if you want to have a look, and also some dismounted Dragoons. Hopefully this shows up around my fat fingers. But there's one of the commanders, which I think is really good. Obviously metal, quite a soft metal. There's one of the cavalry standards, again wearing Cuirassier outfit. I think that's trumpeter, I believe. Nice miniatures. Here's the horses. So again, lovely design. As I would expect with Steel Fist, as I say, I'm familiar with their 28mm and they're amazingly good. So that's them. Let's just have a quick look at, these are the Cuirassiers that I bought. This is ECW H3. There you go. Cuirassier with a pistol. Absolutely perfect for an Imperial army. Not so good for ECW, because, as we mentioned before, well, I think somebody corrected me, there wasn't just one unit, there was 1.5 units in the English Civil War in the early period. Whatever, there weren't many, that's for sure. Let's try a different horse. Where's a different horse? Oh, this one's a nice horse. There's a guy with, these need tidying up. They got a bit of flash on them. There you go. Cuirassier with sabre. What else we got here? There's the same standard guy by the look of it, very similar standard guy. Another one with a pistol. So let's see how they compare with epic. So here we go, let's put him on his horse. This is an epic Dragoon. I've just undercoated him, that's all. And look at that. That is pretty much a perfect match. Now bear in mind these are labelled 15mm. These are labelled epic scale, which is what, 13.5mm. These Steel Fist appear to be absolutely perfect. Let's just check if it's just that one off. Trumpeter again, pretty good mix. And I know, you know, I'm not actually a big one for worrying about scales too much, because as many people mentioned on my last video, people and horses come in different sizes, so you know, don't be surprised if there's a scale difference, and that's true. And from 3 foot away, this sort of size figure, you can't really tell the difference. That's one of the officers. I think that's very, very good. Here's one of the dismounted musketeers. Well, actually, I think he's supposed to be a dragoon. Taking a charge out of his pouch by the look of it. I haven't got one of these off. I should take one of these off the sprue, but let's leave him on the sprue for the moment. In fact, there's a guy shooting. Look how good that is. So they definitely match the scale, which is exciting if you want to get more cavalry, and if you don't like the epic cavalry, which I say a lot of people have, you know, complained about them, and I can see why. They are not the greatest, if I'm honest. They're fine side on, but from the front, very basic sculpts, whereas these are tremendously well sculpted and all round well sculpted, so they work quite nicely. But as I say, at the moment the range is limited to English Civil War, so if you wanted to do like I originally wanted to do, something that won't be in the Epic anytime soon, or possibly forever, I wanted something to supplement, which I think the Essex did a good job for. But I'm very inclined to get some more cuirassiers and possibly some more dragoons from Steel Fist, because these are beautiful figures and they fit in quite well. Now, I know I can hear people in the chat already saying, well, you know, you shouldn't buy Epic anyway, you should just buy decent metals. 15 mils, some lovely ranges out there. There are, but the price difference is considerable. So these Epic figures are considerably cheaper than these Steel Fist for the same amount. So unless you know, for the entry-level gamer, and let's be honest, Epic is for those sort of people who just want to try a new period and get into something quickly. They're fantastic for that, but Epic has its limitations. I actually personally quite like the sprues. I know the musketeers are, in fact they're all shoulder to shoulder lined up, isn't quite how they would have been deployed, but I quite like them anyway. I think they're very well sculpted, some odd hand placements and that sort of thing, but you know, I think they're really, really good. But if you want to, you can supplement them with some of these. So you could, you know, just use your pikemen from the Epic sprue and replace the musketeers with these fantastic figures from Steel Fist, for instance. If you want more cuirassiers or just more dragoons or more just regular cavalry, Steel Fist may well be your answer. So we know what we need to do now. We need to paint some of these up, see how they look on the sprue. So back in a few minutes. And there you are, a few days later, and the cuirassiers are done. Eagle eyes will notice the cuirassiers are these two on the right as you're looking at it now, and on the left is a unit of Epic normal cavalry, the halberdiers, you know, those ones. And I think you can see pretty much straight up, well, you can see two things. Is the Steel Fist cavalry are fantastic. really, really like them. I'm going to have to try and stop myself buying more and more of these things because they are just lovely. But you can also see they fit absolutely perfectly with the Epic cavalry. Now, I have put them on slightly different bases purely because I didn't have enough Epic bases, and also the sort of pudding bases as would be on the Steel Fist. Some of them are a little bit, well, you'd have to trim them a fair bit to get them on the Epic bases. That said, I think these are superb, and I just actually addressed that while I'm here on my first video about comparing Essex Miniatures. A lot of people, well, a couple of people pointed out, or you can do things to hide heights of, you know, different men and horses with different sizes and all that. I know that, and I'm not one of these people who gets particularly fussed about scale. As long as they don't look stupidly different, I don't have a problem with it. I know some people do, however, and I quite regularly mix my Perrys with my Warlords with my offensive, whatever it may be, into different units, because I actually quite like the variation. I think it works for me, but I know some people get very OCD about it, and that's fine. Your figures, your game, your way. But yes, you can do a lot of things, particularly around the basing, to try and mitigate some of those heights. And some of those Essex cavalry, for instance, had quite a lot of thicker bases, so therefore they did stand a bit prouder. And you could have done a similar. You could have put a little bit of card under the Epics to sort of compensate for that, I guess. That said, I didn't really want to do that because A, it's a lot of work and I'm lazy, and B, I wanted to actually show what they look like side by side. These Steel Fist ones, however, I don't think you need to do anything really. They actually fit in beautifully. They're lovely figures. These crashes come up really, really well. I've got some normal cavalry from them to do, which I'll paint up, and I've also got some officers which I'll paint up. But I know if you are thinking about buying from Steel Fist, I believe he's away on holiday for the next week or so. Obviously it's a very small company, so while he's out nothing happens, so if you do place an order, then just be aware of that. And I just, again, first to say, I'm not affiliated to Steel Fist, Warlords, or anybody else for that matter. I'm just a wargamer enjoying what I do. So anyway, back to the figures. I think these Steel Fist cuirassiers are absolutely awesome. Really, really like them. I've done them as Imperials with the red sashes and the red bows to commemorate that, and they will take pride of place on my table. I've done the armour. I've done 3 different styles. I've done a sort of I think it was called plate mail Vallejo, which is quite a shiny, almost silvery colour. Then steel, I think also from, that might be an Army Painter, and also an AK Interactive sort of very dark, almost black steel colour, which I did. And the 3 then with a washover, I think gives that little bit of variation in the armour, which actually I beg your pardon. Gives that little variation in the armour, which I really, really like, and I'll be doing more of that moving forward. So that's them. And so next up, these are the Dragoons. Well, can you tell the difference? Oh, shouldn't really use that reference. So it's actually the front ranks. The ones at the very front, they are the Steel Panther. They are the ones at the front are the Steel Fist 15mm figures. The next rank are Epic, and in fact the back ones are Epic too. But that's not quite true. On the Epic stand, there is actually one Steel Fist miniature. I'm not sure whether you can tell which one it is. I'll let you have a look. But that's how well they all fit together. Those are Steel Fist, as I say, mix in beautifully. And it's a little bit false because the ones on the right hand side, as they come round at the front rank, most of those are kneeling, so it makes them look slightly smaller actually. But I think you would not feel bad about using Steel Fist Dragoons to make up the numbers on the Epic sprue figures that you've got. And also I'm going to be going back in and get some that I'm going to use as commanded shot, because I think they'll look absolutely immense. I'm very excited about using those. The Steel Fist figure on the Epic sprue, on the Epic stand, this one here on the end, that is a Steel Fist metal in amongst the Epic plastics or resin or whatever they're made of. There you go. So I think they're pretty good mix. Really pleased with those. So there you go, there's the comparison, and I thought it was only sensible to put all three together. So here you've got Essex, Steel Fist and Epic all mixed in together. Yeah, the Essex are slightly bigger, but I don't think anything that's going to matter at all for these, particularly from 3 foot away. But if you're really tight on wanting to make sure everything matches much more, then you might want to look at the Steel Fist range. Somebody also suggested Peter Pig. I've got some of those on order, but they haven't arrived in time for this video. So if I do, I may not do a complete comparison, but I'll certainly, if you subscribe and follow the channel as I go through my Epic journey, I'll highlight where the Peter Pig figures come in. I've also bought some Tin Soldier swordsman. Very difficult to get just swordsman, and I just wanted some of those for thinking about putting together an English force for the 30-year war, and they have a unit of swordsmen. The only ones I could get were Spanish swordsmen, so I think I have to try and do. I don't think it matters too much, but the shield's a bit obviously Spanish, so I might have to try and find some different shields. Anyway, that's for the future. But yeah, follow the channel if you haven't already done so, and subscribe, hit the notification, and see what I do with my Epic journey. Hopefully, we're not far off having some battles, so that'll be really cool. I'm just starting work on some Swedes at the moment, some Swedish pikemen. But anyway, there you go. That's the comparison. I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Steel Fist miniatures fit in beautifully with Epics, and if you're not too fussed about slightly increased sizes, then the Essex fit in pretty well too. So I think any of the older 15mm ranges, if you wanted to go down the minifigs route, I see they've got quite a big range as well. Very old models, they probably will fit beautifully as well. And there's a number of other manufacturers out there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let me know in the comments down below what you found out. Are you bothered about mixing extra figures into your Epic ranges? Do you have a particular favourite? Is there anybody I've missed? I'm going to have a look at a few more as well. Militarium, I think they're about to close though, unfortunately, but I might pick up some of their figures just to see how they fit in. But yeah, any other suggestions, gratefully received. And let me know in the comments what you think. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.